Morning, everyone. Excuse me. I'm going to ask everybody to silence their phones, please. CUNY TV is ready to go.
Recording in progress.
Very good. I'd like to call this meeting to order. I note the presence of a quorum. We have the following action items that require action by the board. Approval of the minutes of December 15th, 2022, meeting of the fund, number 2401. Any amendments to the minutes? Any discussion? I ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
I do so move.
Second.
Second, thank you.
I'll abstain because I wasn't a member at that time.
Fair enough. I now call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, hearing no negatives, I now will, the motion carries unanimously. I will now move the second resolution. Resolution of the City University Construction Fund authorizing interior upgrades to the Performing Arts Center at York College, number 2402. I will now call on Executive Director Mohammed Atalia to give an explanation of the item.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The York Performing Arts Center interior upgrades project includes new theater seating, upgraded audio-visual system, theoretical equipment, theoretical lighting systems, and relevant information technology upgrades for both the small and the large theater. It will also include restroom upgrades, including 2 new gender-neutral facilities, entry and theater door replacement, a new accessible route to the small theater, and an elevator extension. This project will address a number of deferred maintenance issues in the York Performing Arts Center and will bring about 34,000 square feet of space into a state of good repair. Construction is managed by DASNY and is anticipated to commence this month and be completed by July 2024. The program management agreement requires DASNY to comply with and report on the applicable MWBE and SDVOP goals. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any discussions, any questions, any concerns on this? Yes, please.
So there's 2 theaters, a large and a small at York College. We're talking about the small theater here?
We're talking about the large one.
I thought I heard you say small.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
So which one is it?
It's the large, but we're doing something for the small as well. I think the entry.
And how are we accommodating people with disabilities?
I understand the construction will include the ADA, or the theater is also accessible. I'm not sure.
We making all the ADA standards, latest 2014.
Okay, thank you.
What's the if DASNY's managing the construction, what is when they hire Ewing Cole as the design consultant, but it also says architectural service and construction administration? I assume construction administration because I've seen it now multiple times as a term of art. What does that mean exactly?
Construction administration is the work to administer, like during the work itself.
Yeah.
So the quality of work, processing payments, approving shop drawings, approving alterations, maybe if value engineering if needed, as we move with the site conditions. A big part of it is pushing contractors and working with contractors and encourage contractors to come on time and finish work and show up and getting the supplies and the materials and storage and moving from storage to construction.
So that day-to-day, it gets farmed out to them. So DASNY's not managing that piece. They're giving that to Ewing to manage. Is that right? Is that how I'm thinking about it?
Not all projects. Like some projects, yes, that's what will happen, yes.
Okay. And do we help pick Ewing, or does somebody else? Does DASNY pick them
It goes
themselves?
through the DASNY procurement process.
I say it only because we've spoken here about MWBE vendors before, and in both instances, this resolution and the one that we'll consider afterwards, they're both firms that are not MWBE, and I just think that, we should be pushing DASNY a little bit, at least in terms of when, I know we're following the state rules, but in particular when we're thinking about some of these architectural firms and construction firms, private businesses aren't hiring them. So it relies on public businesses to try to give them business to help bring them up. And it would be nice to have seen in both these resolutions firms that are MWBE, or at least some consideration, or having them be a vendor in or a partner with it. I just think those firms are not getting any of this business, and they're not getting it from the private sector, so they rely on the public sector for this.
You're absolutely correct in the notes. In spite of the fact that the firms are not actually like MWBEs,
Yeah.
but there is a 30% goal that the assigned firm have to achieve, and this is what we indicated in the resolution. DASNY, according to our agreement with them, they have to comply with the MWBE rules, and they report on it, and we publish those
Yeah.
records. So even if the company is not registered at MWBE, they still have to meet the 30 goals through their sub-source, through sub-subs and the suppliers, and so they have to allow that down the chain. But the point is well taken. We encourage MWBE. We actually have what we call an MWBE conference that will be held in May 24th at John Jay. And through that exercise, we invite all the MWBE firms in New York and wider and beyond to attend the conference, and there will be workshops and panels to explain to them how we encourage them to get business from us, what is the way to get business from us, how to be qualified, how to come on the roster. So we do this kind of outreach as well.
Do we know from DASNY if they have on the roster of groups like Ewing and others, how many MWBE firms are on that roster?
We can, I
Yeah,
believe our staff do have it.
they have that information, that can be provided, they do. They know exactly which firms, consultant, contractors are MWE. So that can be provided, they have that, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I want to reiterate what trustee Van Capel has said. I think that is crucial. And I think we ought to check and make sure that all of the projects are using the WMBE model without a doubt, particularly for York College.
Yes.
Can I assume that there's going to be a PLA, or they're going to use union labor, following along the same line as the WMBE issue?
I believe, yes, the answer
Would you
to be
check?
there, we'll check that, yes.
Would you check? Because I think we ought to be more careful if we're going to approve such large projects that they be utilizing local labor, folks from the community. There are a lot of construction companies down in Jamaica. And since I represent a good chunk of that, not York College itself, but the adjacent areas, I'm particularly concerned. And secondly, I wasn't clear on your response to the first question, which, was there an RFP issued?
RFP issued, yes.
Oh, there was, okay.
Yeah. They go through the bidding process,
Okay.
yeah.
And DASNY is not managing this. Could
It's
you-
under the preview of DASNY, like we're doing through DASNY. But they hire, subcontractors and sub-vendors to work for them.
So we can assume that DASNY is not getting a management fee on this project?
No, they don't get management fee. They have their allocation from the state, and this is how they manage.
Because they have the allocation from the state, we want to be very careful that they follow the rules.
That's correct.
And can I ask one more question? Has construction started yet?
No.
Okay, because it says construction starting February 23rd, February of 23. So is it starting this month, or is it starting?
That's today.
Yeah, we do not start any construction before
Yeah.
the final approval of CCF.
Okay.
We go through the process, as you know, that we take it to the CUNY subcommittee for facilities.
Yeah.
And then from CUNY subcommittee facilities goes to the full CUNY board,
Yep.
and then it comes to the
Yeah.
CCF board. So
Okay.
before we get all of those approvals, nothing
Okay.
proceeds.
Thank you.
How do you decide when DASNY is going to manage a construction project versus the construction fund or CUNY?
We have a process. That's quite of a comprehensive question. It's a great question. We do have a process. We look at the overall program after we get the approval and we get the funding plan approved from our colleagues in the DOB, Department of Budget in the States. We look at the program and we divide a portion for us. Our target this year is to look at about 40% of the work to be performed by CUNY and the 60% with DASNY, and we'll be looking at that split as we move forward. Historically, in the past 10 years, CUNY was performing on average about 24% of the program, and we made recently some infrastructure changes and upgrading our capacity to improve this percentage.
Any other questions, concerns?
Yeah, I have one other question. I'm looking, you have a not-to-exceed amount of 19 plus, a little over, about 19.5 million. Have the previous contracts adhered to the not-to-exceed amount? Not just for York, but for the other items?
All
the past?
projects has to adhere to the not to exceed amount.
Would you, thank you.
If they are, we will have to come back to you with approval of any increase over that not to exceed.
No, I know that, and we
but-
were doing that at
Yeah.
one point. I remember, was
Yeah,
it, in the past, I don't remember.
yeah.
It was the nursing school. It was the
Yeah.
nursing building.
I think it was the nursing
That-
school
that-
at
Lehman.
Lehman College,
At
if
Lehman.
I'm not
Yeah, that's
mistaken.
right,
I
yeah.
think that's right.
Absolutely.
I think it was Lehman College
Yep.
Nursing School where there were lots and lots of,
But we haven't had that since, I think. I think that was the last
So
one.
far.
So far.
so far.
Anomaly.
Okay, I'm gonna call for a motion on this, please.
So
I do
moved.
so move.
Okay, any second? Thank you. Gonna call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. I will now move the third resolution. Resolution of the City University Construction Fund authorizing Phase 2 renovations to the 17 Lexington Avenue building at Baruch College, number 2403. I will now call on the Executive Director, Mohammed Ataya, to give an explanation of this item.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Baruch 17 Lex Phase 2 renovation project includes a renovation of the remainder of the ground floor, including new ADA toilet facilities, new ADA street entrance, and renovated lobby, renovated box office, new multipurpose space, new ADA elevator to Mason Hall balcony and basement, and improvements to the alleyways. The project will address a number of deferred maintenance issues and will bring about 25,000 square feet of space into a state of good repair. Construction is managed by DASNY and is anticipated to start shortly after the approval and to be substantially completed by November 2024. And the program management agreement with DASNY require DASNY to comply with and report on the applicable MWBE and SDVOP goals. Thank you.
Questions, concerns?
I have one quick question.
Sure.
Why
Manager.
was this done in phases? Wouldn't it be cheaper to just do one?
It's a very large project and it's a very busy building. So we need to phase the construction in order to maintain the building to be operational without exceeded cost if we shut down complete areas. And this building needs many other phasings. It's in our capital plan, and in our submission this year in our budget submission to the state, we did include it in our goal sheet as one of the top priorities, the next phase of that building.
Will there be another phase?
There is actually another bigger phase that in the plan, in the master planning, but it's based on the available funding if we get the fund to do it.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, hearing none, I'm gonna ask for a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, just a brief note. The next meeting will be April 13th, 2023. I would like to move it to 4 o'clock, which is what we do with all the board meetings and committee meetings for the board and facilities management. They're all in the afternoon. Unless anyone's strongly opposed to that.
What, is that a Thursday?
That's a Thursday.
Assuming we have a budget, I have no,
Right, I get that. If we have, if for whatever reason.
and we're all in trouble.
Right, assuming there's any problems, we may, because of the budget
Okay.
discussions.
Yeah.
Okay, great. If there's no further business, I'm gonna ask for a motion to adjourn.
Move we adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, and welcome again,
Thank you.
yeah.
That's 17 Lexington, that's like renovating a cruise ship.